Drivers, start your engines!
This is MRN Motorsports Monday, presented by Outback Steakhouse. One full hour of news, interviews, and opinion about the past weekend's racing action. Brought to you by Hercules Tires.
Pace car is on.
Now, here are your hosts, Woody Kane and Joey Meyer.
Green flag, green flag.
Motorsports Monday, presented by Outback Steakhouse, with you after a crazy weekend at Michigan International Speedway with the new even lower downforce rules package, a first-time winner on the XFINITY side, and most of all, Joey, no rain.
We had a crazy Monday. First of all, we're back on the show Monday.
Yeah, Motorsports Monday.
Motorsports Monday. I'm back in the studio.
Absolutely.
And we saw the variation of the new lower.
Even lower.
It's almost version 3.0.
Yeah.
Made its debut from the extreme high drag downforce we saw in the fall of Michigan, which nobody
was
liked,
awful.
Which
yeah,
nobody
it was
liked.
awful. Yeah.
And so it put on some interesting characteristics of a race car that drivers. It's interesting to hear when they get out of the car how much fun they're having. Yeah, you're driving a lot of fun, but on the radio, you're like, I hate the way this thing drives. So your car handles worse than everybody else's until you get out front. And then all of a sudden it magically, not because of anything happens, it's just because now you're leading, and it magically takes off. Brad complained about his car, talked about how much horsepower we were down, and I'm like, your teammate's leading the race. Yeah.
Well, I talked to him Sunday morning. He said it was the best car he ever had at Michigan.
And it was. He really felt after the race we had a good car, timing of restarts and some issues that he even talked about that he didn't do correctly. We thought we had a really good car. We still think we had a really good car. He just was never able to get out front. Started 15th, clawed our way, got out as high as second. During the event, Joey stayed up front all day, just about, it seemed like. We did take the lead a couple of times on some long pit sequences, but really just could never get up front, some of the restarts there. But it was just interesting how you felt how bad your car was until you were passing somebody. Ryan Newman actually drove home with us on the plane, and we were talking about some different things, and he's like, you think your car drove bad? You should drive mine.
Yeah.
So everybody's car drove bad until you got in front of somebody, and you're like, well, I guess my car is driving better. But it was interesting. The Xfinity guys, wow, what a race with Daniel coming across.
Yeah, that was cool.
It was a heck of a battle. Again, he had to overcome pit road. And then the truck race, man. How about Rico Abreu up at the high line? He felt like he was at Eldora somewhere up in the high lane. He
got more attention than the winner did.
Yeah, well,
William Byron wins again, and he's been on the show after his first win, but Rico Abreu got more attention than the winner.
Just because of how he was doing it.
Yeah.
It was an unorthodox method. We see Brennan Gaughan and some of the guys run the high line, but Rico was up there doing it in the high line and really impressing the heck out of somebody. Fortunately for William, they told him, Rico's coming up top.
Yeah.
You better take something away, and he did, and then Rico got in the wall, and the rest is history with William being able to come across as victor. But 3 fantastic races, essentially no weather issues up there in Michigan. Texas had a little bit of weather issues, but not necessarily for the truck series. But great race weekend.
What a finish to the weekend they had in Texas. Just insane.
Yep.
By the way, folks, we want to remind you that this show is presented by Outback Steakhouse, and that means don't forget to race into Outback Steakhouse today for a free bloomin' onion, because Kevin Harvick finished in the top 10. Outback Steakhouse, done right.
Free?
And, yeah. They've also got lunch specials starting at $6.99, combos along the way. There you see Kevin Harvick, top 5 finish. We got the Joey menu that is not named after my co-host. It's for kids. It's a kids menu. And they do have that all center cut sirloin now, a brand new app that they've got. You can check in before you arrive, get coupons. You can even divide up your check at your table without having to make the server do it and pay that way, and you're scot-free.
But if we all go in and get free bloomin' onions, we really don't have to divide anything, do we?
Well, if that's all you get.
What's free cost? How much is free?
Free is free. But
how do you divide it?
You don't, but you don't have to do that. You're only going to go and they're going to give you free stuff. That's not a very good attitude.
So what you're saying is my free bloomin' onion, which I never got from you, is the same as the one I have now.
Wait, from me?
Yeah.
From me? Why am I responsible?
Because you guys went and taste tested a while ago. I didn't get anything.
It was research, okay? It was research. We got to do research. And Hercules Tire. We want to thank the folks at Hercules Tire for being on board with us as well. But what a weekend it was at Michigan. We want to play along with us. You can do that on Twitter at MRN Radio. Mine is at WY Kane. His is at 2 Spotter. Just use that hashtag AskMRN so we can find your question if you want to play along with us today. Big show coming up. Daniel Suarez, the aforementioned first-time winner in the Xfinity Series, will be on the program. What a moment that was to see him chase down Kyle Busch and get by him. And Ben Kennedy's going to be along. He'll be doing double duty at Iowa Speedway this weekend, racing in the Camping World Truck Series, where he's top 10 in the standings, and racing for Richard Childress on the Xfinity side at Iowa. So that'll be a lot to talk about with Ben Kennedy as well.
A little bit of a conjunction with the truck team, with their affiliation with the RCR, and now he gets to have his first Xfinity start for the actual entire RCR program. So it'll be interesting to hear what he has to say about how he approaches Iowa.
Let's start off by talking about yesterday's race in the Sprint Cup Series. A lot of low downforce issues. Joey Logano won it, as we said. He finished up in victory lane talking with R. Winston Kelly.
He's had a lot of good race cars in his career, been to victory lane 15 times. This has got to be one of the most dominant cars that you had. Other than that one cycle, never lower than second. So, but it seemed like the restarts were the key to this race, and all but one, you were on top of it.
Yeah, it was all but one, but I remember that one, that's for sure. But what a great race car. Ty Gordon, his Shell Pennzoil team, all of Team Penske, win here in Rogers' backyard, Ford's backyard. This is always a big win for us here. So, you know, I appreciate the great car. What a crazy race with the low downforce and the more cautions and more opportunity to screw up pretty much. But what a fun race racing with Chase and Kyle Larson. It's fun to see the young guys up there racing. I'm not so alone up there as the young guy anymore. I got guys that are out there younger than me racing for a win, so it's fun to race with them.
What was the feel of this low downforce package to you, both in traffic and not in traffic?
Not good in traffic and not good by myself either. It's just the cars didn't have much grip, a lot of sliding around, but it was just you know, catching the traffic in the right time, knowing what the lanes worked best for your car, and understanding the cars you were racing. We had plenty of opportunity to learn about other cars on restarts and seeing where other cars were good and not, and you kind of keep that mental notebook as you go.
What was the key to the restarts that made them so good for you?
Got lucky, I guess.
You don't get lucky 4 times. Come on.
I don't know. It's there's a lot of thought that goes into restarts with this race team, and you know, it's from every angle. So it you know, all kind of came together.
You know, we've been talking about Joey Logano was one of the guys who doesn't have that first win yet this year from the guys who won a year ago. And he kept saying, well, you know, if you look after the Daytona 500, it was a while before we started winning again.
Yep.
So he was not worried and made it pay off yesterday.
Yep, 10 winners already this season. We need to have 16 before we start having problems with who actually.
Think we'll get there?
Well, I don't think so. I don't think we have 11 more races with 10 winners already. I don't see us having 6 more new winners. I think we'll still have 2 or 3, or close to 4 or 5. I don't see having more than 6. But it'll be interesting. The intrigue will be interesting to see actually who has winners, and then points become important. And points are so important now that teams are getting in trouble and not having their crew chiefs. Which we think we're going to have a team that'll probably get penalized who already had a crew chief missing the race, so they had a new crew chief.
A backup crew chief will now get suspended, and the original crew chief comes back.
Yeah, so your spare tire goes flat. That's how that is.
Oh, boy. That's kind of crazy for sure. We got a lot to talk about here on Motorsports Monday today, including the action at the Camping World Truck Series at Texas Motor Speedway. We'll take a timeout now. When we come back, Ben Kennedy will join us on the other side.
This is MRN Motorsports Monday.
Ready to take the training wheels off your race scanner? Go to fanvision.com and upgrade your experience with FanVision. Not only will you be able to hear the race,
Dale Earnhardt Jr. gets a good run, drafting help from Kyle Busch and Kevin Harvick. Jr. again pulls up alongside for the race lead.
you'll see every moment through live video, instant replays, live stats, and more.
Hi, I'm Jamie McMurray, driver of the #1 McDonald Chevrolet, and I never go to the track without my FanVision. So go to fanvision.com to rent or buy yours today.
In the Outback, we think the best part about racing is the noise, the engine, the pits, and a Kevin Harvick top 10 finish. Especially a Kevin Harvick top 10 finish. That's because if Kevin Happy Harvick, driver of the #4 Chevrolet, places in the top 10 in today's race, there's free bloomin' onions this Monday. So you'll have a happy bloomin' Monday. Only at Outback Steakhouse. Valid with any purchase. 1 per table. Participation may vary. Registered trademarks used with permission.
Looking for winged sprint car coverage? MRN has you covered with Winged Nation. Tuesdays at noon Eastern, it's Winged Nation presented by Hercules Tire on MRN.com. Thursdays, check out the Winged Nation Weekend Preview podcast presented by Hefner Racing Products. Then on Saturdays at 9:30 a.m. and 12:30 p.m. Eastern, watch Winged Nation presented by Sage Fruit on MAV TV. MRN's Winged Nation, your source for all things winged sprint cars.
I'm Rico Abreu, and you're listening to MRN Motorsports Monday with Joey Meyer and Woody King.
Boy, how appropriate it's Rico Abreu. We were talking earlier, he got more attention than the winner of that race for the way he charged up through the field. But another guy who had a good night at Texas Motor Speedway joins us on the guest line now, the driver of the number 33 Jacob Company's Chevrolet, Ben Kennedy, with a fourth-place finish at Texas. Ben, congratulations on a strong run, man. That was you guys got out of Texas just in time before the skies opened up, right?
Yeah, we definitely did. Thanks for having me on today.
Man, it's really good to have you on because we got a lot to talk about with Iowa coming up. You're going to be pulling double duty there, but let's talk a little bit about Texas first. That track is very abrasive, very bumpy. Tell us about the challenges you found when you arrived and getting around that track.
Yeah, we had a pretty decent truck really the entire weekend. I think everybody fought, being on the tight side there and trying to get their truck to rotate. They brought a different compound tire press, so I think we were all kind of trying to figure it out. And they brought a lot of grip initially, but had a big fall off throughout the run. And I think a lot of people saw that on TV and listening on the radio and whatnot. But it's just a matter of not falling off as quick and staying as consistent as you possibly can, and making sure that I think we were all tight, but making sure that you find as much front grip as you can without tearing up your right front too much. So it's always fun going to Texas. I love going out. It's got so much character to it, and I like these older style kind of abrasive tracks that have a lot of bumps in them. So we had a good night. I kind of wish we would have had another run or two there. I think we could have had a chance at breaking the top three, if not winning the thing.
Going through a little bit of a transition, 3 races into the season, you're going over at GMS Racing. You've had 4 races now with them and 3 crew chiefs. Have we been able to settle on a crew chief, or are you still window shopping over there?
I'm not too sure how it's going to work. It seems like every week there's something a little bit different going on between numbers and crew chiefs and whatnot.
Yep.
But I think we're going to figure it out. We've been talking about plans going forward, and I'm really excited about what GMS is doing, and some of their long-term plans over there, and really just being a part of the group. It's really an impressive organization what they've built in the past 2 or 3 years. I'm excited to be a part of it, and I think we have a shot at making our way into the States. I really do.
Yeah, you've had some good talent. Absolutely. Yeah, you've had some great talent guiding you with Jeff Stankiewicz, Joey Cohen, and Marcus Richmond. So you've had 3 crew chiefs, 2 different teams. But the one constant that's been in your ear the entire career of this year and last as well has been your spotter with Jimmy Kitchens. Talk about the solidarity you guys have for the relationship you've had for the several years now.
Yeah, we've been together for a long time, and actually started off in the K&N days, but he's been really good at coaching me along the way, and it's good to have someone that's up in the sky that's also been behind the wheel as well. So, he's been around for a long time, and we've got good chemistry, and the cool thing about it is that, if he tells me something to do or I try something, he already knows, I can do it or not. I cannot do it, within a lap or two. I don't really have to communicate it verbally, so I think that line of communication helps a lot.
Absolutely it does, and Joey was going to fire a spotter question at you, but let's talk a little bit about now, in spite of all the changes, you're 9th in the standings right now, and we've got some guys who are very, very close together, bunched up there still early in the season in terms of making this chase, and now you're on a pretty good stretch here where it's not long gaps between it. Are you anticipating being able to find a little bit of a rhythm here and battle for that, because you got a standalone coming up here at Iowa, and then your guys are going to be moving on through the schedule pretty quickly as the summer goes on here, where you have a chance to really get in a groove?
Absolutely. I think we're 9th in points, and we're 3 points out of 8. But, I think we could definitely break into the top 8 and consider ourselves chase eligible through these next 2 races. But I think the real matter of fact is going to be, getting to victory lane. And, I definitely think we could do it, but I think there's going to be more than 8 winners here going into the chase for the Truck Series. So, we got to get up on the wheel, and we got to put in victory lane, and it really helped us all sleep a lot better. And really, I wouldn't be surprised if it takes 2 wins to really, feel comfortable, being locked in the chase. So I'm excited about going to Iowa and Gateway. I got to be honest, I've never been a huge fan of Texas going into it. And after we had that run there, it just makes me look so much more forward to Iowa and Gateway because I really enjoy going to those 2 racetracks. And it's going to be a fun weekend. I've been looking at my schedule for Iowa this weekend. It's crazy between the trucks and Xfinity and all that stuff, but it's going to be a good time.
Yeah, coming off a little momentum now with Fort Worth behind you, but what did you actually need at the end of that race to try to compete for a win?
Honestly, I think we needed another 10 laps or so, 10 or 15 laps. I wish we could have. I wish we had a little more time there. We started 15th and we drove up in the top 5 and had some issues on pit road throughout the race and just kind of kept having to build our way up in the top 5. And I'm sure you guys have seen get in traffic, and it's just so difficult to get around trucks. It's so aero sensitive, gets aero tight, gets aero loose, and you might be 2 or 3 times faster than the guy ahead of you, but by the time you reach him, and he kind of takes away your momentum, it's so difficult to actually get around him. So track position was huge at Texas, and it's going to be just as big at the next 2 races. But honestly, I think another 10 or 15 laps for us the other night. I think we could have got up there and ran for the win. I think we're, if not the fastest, the second fastest to Rico that last run of the race, and the truck really started coming alive. The guys did an awesome job on the Jacob Company's truck, and we really hit on something. And I'm looking forward to taking some of those notes and applying it to some more of the mile and a half to go to later this year.
You mentioned earlier Iowa, busy schedule there with you pulling double duty. The word came out last week that you're going to be driving the Xfinity Series for Richard Childress Racing. Tell us how that came together and how much you're looking forward to getting behind the wheel of that machine.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. We're actually heading over there this afternoon to get fit in the seat and do all sorts of fun stuff, get to know the guys and whatnot. But, it came together a couple months ago, and really an exciting deal. And excited to have Rude on the car as well. I almost call it a truck. I'm so used to calling everything trucks. So I'm actually really excited to get behind the wheel of the car and work with Danny Stockman and really all those guys. It's an awesome team. They've been running great this year, and it definitely shows. So I'm looking forward to it. I've never been behind the wheel of the Xfinity car. I've sat in it once or twice, but I kind of really don't know what to expect. I know that the schedules are hectic, but we're going to put a lot of focus into the Xfinity car and trying to get me as much seat time as possible because these practices go quick, between the trucks and Xfinity. I think we'll be on track for 6 or 7 hours, which sounds like a long time, but really between the 2 series, it all goes so quickly. So I'm looking forward to working with these guys and hopefully get up to speed pretty quick here.
Yeah, along the lines of that, this new younger generation, whenever they go into a new vehicle that they haven't been at or a new track, you guys tend to run simulators or videos or talk to your teammates. Exactly what preparation have you done for your first start in the Xfinity Series?
I've definitely watched videos and done some online simulations and whatnot, but I'll probably just continue to do that throughout the week. I think with the advancements in technology and whatnot, all these simulations, it's really amazing how close you can get to being at a racetrack in that race car. I mean, nothing replicates that exact feel and sensation of being in a race car, but just to kind of get to know the racetracks and the lay of the land a little bit, how the cars drive. I think simulation is a huge tool that we can use, and it's cost effective too. We're not going out to a racetrack and spending a lot of funds on traveling, getting tires and whatnot. Instead, we're sitting at home in our basement, looking at a screen, acting like we're driving, and it helps a lot. I think it's a huge benefit and a huge tool for us drivers to kind of use to get ready for new tracks or new cars or whatnot. So I think between that and watching past videos of qualifying and races, and really just being able to talk to my teammates as well, and asking them what's the comparison between the trucks and the cars. And I think Ty Dillon will kind of be a good example for that, because he's done a little bit of both and kind of knows the differences in between them.
Ben, a lot of the drivers have nothing but high praise for Iowa. Of course, Rusty Wallace helped design it, almost like when an Arnold Palmer or somebody like that, or a Jack Nicklaus helps design a golf course. Why do drivers like that track so much? What's special about it?
I don't know. I think it's just fun. It's kind of got that short track feel to it, but we're carrying a lot of speed too. And I think what's kind of cool too is it's 3 and 4 is more of a fast sweeping, wide angled corner, and 1 and 2 is it seems a little bit narrower over there, and you have some bumps and character to it. And I think the other cool thing about it is that over the years the line has changed a lot. When they first started running at the track, the line was really on the bottom, and over the past couple of years, it's moved from the bottom at the beginning of the race all the way up to the wall by the end of the race. So I think it's really a driver-friendly racetrack in the sense that that if your car may not be working in one place, you can go find another place on the racetrack and make it work and find speed there. So I always enjoy going to Iowa. It's a cool racetrack, and they do such a great job with facility and whatnot. And I'm looking forward to getting out there.
Yeah, Iowa's a very unique opportunity. Gateway, Kentucky, and then we have the strange one on the circuit. A month from this weekend is Eldora. Do you circle that one with excitement, or do you circle that race with trepidation?
I have no idea. We went there last year. Honestly, first lap of practice, I put it straight into the wall, and it didn't go too good. I missed a lot of practice. The guys fixed it, and gosh, I think we started next to last or something. And we drove up. We drove up in the top 5 or top 10 or something. I forget. I think I figured something out there. I couldn't tell you 2 things about dirt racing, but these trucks, it's like the easier you drive it around that place, the faster it goes. I've tried driving it really hard. I've tried driving it, really simply and easy, and it always seems that driving the easy way and almost actually saving your tires seems to be the best around there, because the track just changes so much. It gets so slick. So I kind of look forward to Eldora. Like I said, I don't really have much experience on dirt, but I always think it's a blast to go out there.
Yeah, man, me too. It's a cool place to go. Looking forward to going out there for sure later on in the season. Well, Ben, we certainly appreciate your time today, and look forward to catching up with you this weekend at Iowa, even though you'll be running from one garage to the other all weekend long. And top 10 in the standings right now, battling for one of those chase spots. Things are certainly moving in the right direction.
Good deal. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Thanks, man.
See you soon.
Yep.
Appreciate it. There you go. That's Ben Kennedy. And, boy, he's right. We may have more than 8 winners in the Truck Series by the time things are all said and done.
We don't see multiple winners, 3, 4 winners, 5 winners with one driver winning 4 or 5 races like we do in other series in the trucks. They do tend to spread out 1 or 2 wins over the course of the field, and that's going to put an imperative point on the points you have. We don't want to talk about points racing, but like Ben mentioned, we are going to end up having 7, 8, 9 winners, and it's whoever battles out in that points, which will create a great race towards we get to the end there.
Now, speaking of Iowa, we're going to finish up with trucks here with letting you hear from William Byron, who won his 2nd race of the year. But you're going to be there as well, right? Brad Keselowski's going to be in the 22 and the Xfinity side?
Yep, we're doing the doubleheader myself with Daniel Hemrick will be truck racing, and then Brad will be in the Xfinity car with Discount Tire on Sunday.
All right, look out, Des Moines. Joey is headed your way. As we go to break here, once again, as we said, William Byron won his 2nd of the season in the Camping World Truck Series. Here's what he had to say after the race.
William Byron getting a nice big old swig of water and cooling down on a very hot night. And, of course, it makes it hotter here in Victory Lane at Texas because all the flames behind you as well. But congratulations on the run. Let's start with that restart last time with Matt Crafton and that side-by-side racing for about 6-7 laps. What about that run?
Yeah, that was crazy. Just goes to show you how great the trucks are and how good of a show we can put on side by side. I was pretty much wide open, and he was making me loose and just right on my door, and I just wasn't giving up. But it didn't work that time, but we got back to him, and our Tundra was really fast. I just can't thank Liberty University enough.
And those closing laps there as you were starting to catch up to them, did you let the tires cool down a little bit to start to make that run?
Not really. I was going for it. There's a part where I was like, maybe we're finished third here, and that'll be okay. But, man, I started to see them slipping, and I started to pick up speed, and it's like, man, let's go for it. And, Crafton gave me the top, and I just rolled by him. And, it's fun to race against him and Johnny Sauter and Rico. Oh, my God. I mean, I thought I had the top figured out, and he, obviously he did. So I had to kind of take it away from him a little bit, but it was really good.
One last thing, we were talking earlier this week about the fact that, if you win a race, you think you're in the chase, but the Truck Series, only 8 get in. Now you got a little more padding with that second win. How's it make you? Does it help you relax a little bit now?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, it solidifies us as a race team, probably more so me, as, these guys have done it. So, we were there when it counted, and the last couple weeks I've been frustrated because we've been, I just haven't done my job at the end, I feel like, and we've had a couple penalties on pit road, but, man, we pitted all today. The pit crew was awesome. It's just awesome to be here.
This is MRN Motorsports Monday.
Whatever you drive, wherever you go, Hercules Tires will get you there, whether you're running on dirt or running a job. Our dependable, high-quality tires are the perfect fit for your needs. For unmatched value, selection, and warranty with industry-leading road hazard protection, there's only one choice: Hercules Tires. To learn more, visit HerculesTire.com or call 800-677-9535. Hercules Tires, ride on our strength.
Looking for a great spot for an affordable beach vacation, a family getaway, or the perfect romantic retreat but just can't find the time? Let the Plaza Resort and Spa help. A vacation on the world's most famous beach is sure to help you reconnect with the ones you love. You will discover the grand tradition of hospitality and service at this sparkling Daytona Beach Hotel, located directly on the beach. A Plaza Resort and Spa weekend escape is the ultimate in relaxation, with world-class massages, facials, body wraps, and more at the Plaza's very own Ocean Waters Spa. She'll love you for giving her such a fantastic weekend getaway. The Plaza Resort and Spa, located at 600 North Atlantic Avenue in Daytona Beach, one of the area's premier hotels and the perfect choice for any type of getaway. Book online at plazaresortandspa.com or call 1-855-DB-PLAZA. That's 1-855-327-5292.
Hi, this is Brian Scott, and you're listening to MRN Motorsports Monday with Joey Meyer and Woody Kane.
The crowd is on its feet as we come to the line. The Credit Bank, 1 to go. White flag is in the air. Suarez is there. He beats Kyle Busch to the line. Daniel Suarez trying to take the lead into turn 1.
Side by side for the lead and the win for the final time in Michigan into turns 1 and 2. It's Suarez by a half a car length. Suarez across the nose of Kyle Busch. Suarez goes for the lead and takes it out 2.
But here's Kyle Busch. He'll rally back on the outside. Cuts back in line, tries to draft down the backstretch. Into turn 3. No lap traffic. It's Daniel Suarez now riding in the middle of the racetrack. Kyle Busch a car length off the back bumper.
Daniel Suarez 2 car lengths over Kyle Busch. He's come to America from Mexico, and Daniel Suarez wins for the first time in the NASCAR Xfinity Series.
And that's the way it sounded from Michigan. There you heard Dave Moody, Mike Bagley, Alex Hayden, and Winston Kelly with the call. And, boy, what a moment. It's always cool when you can be a part of somebody's first victory, a historic moment, and it sure was for Daniel Suarez, who's been so close many times. I remember asking him when he was on this show one time, would you rough up Kyle if you got to him? And we got to see how it played out at Michigan.
Yeah, very, very fast race car, but was able to overcome a pit road penalty early on. But since just being able to get to where he's at, he taught himself English.
Yeah, how about that?
As guys are going up.
Could you teach yourself Spanish?
I'm trying to teach myself English. I mean, you've heard some of my words.
Okay, yeah, I have. You got some great ones.
I make them up like crazy.
There you go. That's the sounder for when you make one up.
There you go. But the simple fact is guys are trying to get better in the sport, and we talk about team sports and communication. He's trying to learn a language simply to communicate to his crew chief and his team what his cars need. So that obstacle obviously was monumental, but to be able to solidify an event like Michigan after a penalty and have a car that was fast enough to get by his teammate, which had a fast car in Eric Jones, but then to be able to get by the king of Xfinity Series racing with Kyle Busch, he'll put that trophy up, and not only his first, but it just represents so much of what he's done.
Yeah, and he had a clutch problem at the end as well. They had to push him out of the pit box in the last stop, and he had to overcome that in addition to the earlier penalty, the speeding. Remember, though, when he had that speeding penalty, they took 2 tires to try and get some track position and got off pit road first, but the speeding penalty made that go out the window, and they came back and got the other 2 and then spent the rest of the day trying to get back up there. They certainly did. The crew guys were telling me all day, man, we're coming. We got a fast car. We're going to be there, and sure enough, they were right.
You know, it's one of those situations we talk about tracks being aero-tight and aero-sensitive and you can't pass. He showed that with a fast enough race car, it didn't matter. He was able to come from the back to the front, pass cars equally built out of the same shop. So we're not talking about different manufacturers and who has a more motor. It was simply driver against driver, who had the better car at that point in the race. And Daniel put on a heck of a show to get by his teammate. The one thing I thought was interesting is, you know, both William Byron in Texas and Daniel Suarez have had tutelage, a little bit of tutorial help from the guy that they were beating, and that's with Kyle Busch.
Absolutely. And Kyle Busch spoke to us after the race as well, talking about his race and Daniel Suarez's first win.
Kyle Busch, what a run there at the end by teammate Daniel Suarez. You didn't quite have enough for him. Were you surprised by his late surge, and what more did you need?
Yeah, I was actually. You know, I don't know where he came from. You know, I hadn't seen his number all day long, but you know, obviously they made some really good adjustments, and they got really good there on that last run and ran us down. You know, I was a little bit on the free side the run before. We made some adjustments to try to make it better, and still too loose there for me at the end of the race, and just getting too edgy through the corners. Just couldn't hold it where I wanted to and make time doing it and keep the throttle down. So congratulations to Daniel Suarez. He earned that one. You know, it's cool to see, and it's a little bittersweet to lose like that, but it's all right. You know, it's one of my students, so student beat the teacher today, and Kyle Busch School of Charms 1-2-4. So you know, good day for all.
There you go, Kyle Busch talking with our Kim Kuhn after the race, and boy, you know, he had been really close many times before Daniel had to Kyle, and finally got a chance to drive by him.
Yeah, I was just glad to see that Kyle really felt bad for him and just kind of pulled over and let him go.
There was an element of that running. I couldn't believe it. I started seeing these after the race. Oh, Kyle, let him win. People were tweeting. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Kyle would wreck Brexton to win a race.
Yeah, he'd wreck himself to win a race.
Yes, he would. He's not letting anybody get by.
He drove around California on 3 wheels.
Well, he did. Absolutely.
If we pay attention to California earlier, he had a flat going into turn 1.
I had forgotten
made it
about
all the way around 50 yards before the start-finish line on 3 wheels.
Yeah.
He wasn't giving up anything, and it simply implied that you don't have idea of the heart of Kyle Busch, because he's not letting anybody win.
The competitive nature, right. He's not going to be one of those guys who let you have a feel-good story just to get it. On the standings now with the Xfinity Series, Daniel Suarez continues to lead with that first victory. He's 18 points ahead of Elliott Sadler, who also has a victory. Ty Dillon is in third. He is 36 points back. Eric Jones and Justin Allgaier next in line. Brandon Jones, another rookie up there. 3 rookies in the top 10 in the standings in the Camping World Truck Series. A really good run as well for Bubba Wallace. He had a good run, was up front, I think, as high as third, maybe even second at one point in that race. But a lot of young faces in this series making some noise as well.
Yeah, it's amazing. We have some individuals that have been in the series for a long time with the Elliott Sadlers and the Brennan Gaughan's of the world, but the youngsters are just chewing these guys up. They're just smothering them with talent, and we see it every week, week in and week out, with guys that are just running up front with good teams and bringing them along in the experience levels, which are way more mature than the actual drivers behind the wheel, because it's a great event to see. Like you say, the Brennan Pools and the Brandon Jones, Justin Allgaier is like the old guy.
Yeah, I mean,
he's like
very young.
Yeah, exactly right. He's like the old guy in the business. Him and Elliott Sadler, who is only 18 points back, which is putting on his best show for Junior Motorsports. But it's going to be a tight race in that top 3 or 4 guys. You have a couple of teams, a couple of race teams out of Joe Gibbs Racing with Elliott Sadler over at Junior Motorsports, and then Ty Dillon, of course, at RCR. So those 4 top teams are going to be racing all the way to the end until we get to the chase. I can't wait to see it.
You mentioned something I want to go back to there a moment ago, maturity. How about Eric Jones? It comes out right before the race that his dad had passed away during the week, and number one, to keep that from getting out for that many days. I think it happened last Tuesday. He had melanoma, and then to go and race on top of that with a heavy heart, and he put his dad's name, Dave, on the door before he raced. That kid is just I don't know if I could have done that. I don't know many people that could have held it together to do that.
Yeah, without a doubt, a sentimental favorite as the race started. You want to see good things happen to good people when they have a downtime. Much like our partners down in Orlando right now dealing with a mass shooting. You want to see good things happen to those people that are dealing with Orlando. You want to see Eric Jones have something good happen to him. He'll have his time. He's had his time. He's already got some victories. But to lose your dad, you've only got one dad. His family's very tight. He was able to see his son win earlier. Was in victory lane. So kudos to those guys. It was a heavy heart. Didn't quite able to pull off the victory. He did finish fourth and sits a very strong fourth, which is ironic. Daniel won. He's first. Eric's fourth. He's fourth in points. So those two very strong competitors get to go to Iowa, and I'm sure he'll deal with this. You never get over losing a parent. You just deal with it for the rest of the time.
Yeah, it's just a tough situation as well. But as we mentioned, Daniel Suarez, the victory there, his first in his 48th start. His previous best finish was second 2 times. First driver to get his first win in 2016 on the Xfinity side, and rebounded from that speeding penalty on lap 29. Second driver to win after a penalty in 2016. Remember, Denny Hamlin did it at Charlotte after a tire violation. 6th foreign-born driver to win in the Xfinity Series, but only the second one to do it on an oval course, and led twice for 4 laps, including the final 2. And, man, you could just hear the crowd swelling as he was making that charge to get the victory lane.
Yeah, very well-liked guy. Never has said a terse word, because even if he wanted to, he wouldn't know how to say it.
No, I bet he would.
Okay.
I bet he would.
I bet he would, too.
Yeah. It was really a fun race to watch all the way through, because a lot of different strategies played out. Kyle Busch struggled early on, as a matter of fact. They came in one
back.
pit stop and went 3 rounds down on the track bar to try and get him back in contention, and it worked, and he's out front for most of the rest of the time.
Yeah, it's interesting concepts of the cars that were good were able to pass. Kyle got in the back, couldn't pass. He got out front, was able not to be passed until the very end there.
We'll take another time out here on Motorsports Monday and have Daniel Suarez on the other side.
This is MRN Motorsports Monday.
In the Outback, we think the best part about racing is the noise, the engine, the pits, and a Kevin Harvick top 10 finish. Especially a Kevin Harvick top 10 finish. That's because if Kevin Happy Harvick, driver of the number 4 Chevrolet, places in the top 10 in today's race, there's free bloomin' onions this Monday. So you'll have a happy bloomin' Monday. Only at Outback Steakhouse. Valid with any purchase. 1 per table. Participation may vary. Registered trademarks used with permission.
Race fans, you know there's nothing like the power, excitement, and sounds of NASCAR. Ever wonder what it would be like to strap yourself in the seat of an authentic NASCAR race car? You can do it at the Richard Petty Driving Experience. Ride along or drive yourself at one of 15 tracks nationwide. Call 1-800-237-3889 or visit online at drivepetty.com. Richard Petty Driving Experience. It's authentic NASCAR entertainment. Call 1-800-237-3889 or visit drivepetty.com to reserve your experience.
At Victory Junction, it's simple. We believe every child, no matter their diagnosis or disability, deserves the chance to just be a kid. So we provide a medically safe environment where children who live in a world of hospital stays and doctor's visits are free to do everything from riding horses, ziplining, swimming, fishing, and bowling, all at no cost to the camper. The experience inspires confidence, builds self-esteem, and changes the life of every child who comes here. Help us change a child's life at victoryjunction.org.
Hi, this is Martin Truex Jr. You're listening to MRN Motorsports Monday with Joey Meyer, number 2, and Woody Kane. He would always call me number 1, so I call him number 2. You want to do a real one now?
I like that one. I don't want to do a real one. I like that one.
And the story actually goes is I would say number 1 when I see him down, because I spotted for Martin Truex for a number of years, and he would be number 1 on pit road to leave the track, and I'd say, I see you down there number 1. And he'd go, okay, number 2. And it just kind of took off, and it grew into its own life. But that's where the actual number 1 and number 2 came from. And the irony is that he drove the number 1 for a while, and now I'm working on the number 2 car. So we still see each other, hey, number 1, number 2.
It worked out.
It just worked out
it
that way.
It came true on its own.
Yes.
Well, how about the spin he had, and he gets sideways, and the air comes up and practically tears the hood off?
Tears the hood off. We saw that a while back when the jet dryer did some damage to the number 2 car, ironically enough, because of the force of the jet dryer getting into the wheel well. So once you get those cars turned around, they're not made to be able to blow up on them. They're made to hold the force down from the speed of the car. So, yeah, substantial damage on that 78 car experienced when he spun.
All right, let's go to the guest line now and welcome into the program the first-time winner in the XFINITY Series, driver the number 19 Aris Toyota Camry from Joe Gibbs Racing, Daniel Suarez. Congratulations, man. That was a really, really thrilling victory you had at Michigan on Saturday.
Thank you, man. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. It was a difficult race. It was an amazing finish, but it was a tough race overall. I made a mistake early on the race with a pure penalty, and then something was wrong with my clutch. And obviously, once we're in the racetrack, we don't use the clutch anymore. But every time that we were going to change tires and put fuel on the car, I was a little bit concerned about how I was going to lift my box. It was a huge deal for me to go to the pure roll and stuff. But overall, the guys never give up. The car was super fast, and that long run in the end helped us a lot to try to make some ground back.
Yeah, appreciate you joining us on the radio with Daniel Suarez, first-time victor here in the XFINITY Series. But we have to ask, and I've always been questioned, and people want to know, why do we speed on pit roads so easily? It's actually easy for your guys to do, but explain to our listeners exactly what goes on pit road and how it goes wrong.
Well, this is how it works. The spiral speed in every single racetrack is different. Sometimes it's 45 miles, sometimes it's 50, sometimes it's 55. But the spiral limit is let's say, I think for this weekend was 55. But when the pit road speed limit is 55, you can go all the way until 59 and 0.9, and you're still good. And they are going to penalize you if you go over 5 miles over the spiral limit. So pretty much, if the pure speed limit is 55, everyone is pushing the lines hard to go to 59 and a half, and sometimes you go a little bit more than that. Sometimes you just push it a little bit more because obviously we don't have the only thing that we have there is the RPM of the engine. So we try to manage our speed with the RPM of the engine, and sometimes you just push those lines a little bit more hard than what you should, and you get those penalties, and that's exactly what happened to me.
Yeah, and you're not the first guy to get caught with that one for sure. But, Daniel, I had your side of pit road during the race, and every time I would go down to your pit box, your guys would keep saying, don't worry, we're fast, we're coming back, and they would just be giving hand signals about how fast you guys were. How difficult was it to maintain your composure when you had a clutch problem, when you had a speeding penalty, and know, I've got a fast enough car to get this done?
Honestly, when I had the pure penalty, I wasn't very worried. I was mad with myself. I didn't talk on the radio for more than 30 minutes, but I wasn't very worried. I was just mad, but I wasn't very worried because I knew that I had a very, very fast race car, and I knew that I was, luckily we had a pure speeding penalty early on the race. When that happened late on the race, your day is over. But since that happened early in the race, I feel like we had the time to recover, and that's exactly what happened. What it really concerned me, and I was very worried about, it was about my clutch, because every time that we were going to the pit-road, I knew that we were going to lose a spot because you need the clutch to leave your box. So every time that I was leaving my box, my guys, they have to push me a little bit and then just throw first gear and just hoping that the engine of the car was going to stabilize, to try to stay a little bit high to keep rolling. But it was a little difficult. It took me a little bit to try to figure out how to roll from 0 to 45 without a clutch, which was pretty difficult. But like I said, after that we had the long run, 34 laps or so, and in that point, my car was really, really good in the long run. So it was the best in the long run. So that helped us a lot, obviously, to catch Cal right there at the end.
Yeah, so during most races, there are 3 people talking on the radio at any given time. You've got the crew chief, the driver, and your spotter. The irony of all your pit road issues that you were having is the guy keeping you calm on the radio, his nickname is Crazy. So Chris Osborne's talking to you and trying to keep you calm. Was he having to work overtime?
Yeah, he say, well, actually, Crazy, my spotter, and my crew chief, both of them, they are very smart. So after the Puro penalty, they told me, okay, he's over. It's early in the race. We have a fast race car. Let's come back. And we went to the tail to start the restart, and we start working from there. And actually, honestly, from the beginning of the race, the car was good. It was fast. It was a top 5 car. But after those adjustments that my engineers and my crew chief made on the first stop, the car was unbelievable fast. It was really good. I was super happy with the car. And I was driving to the field. Actually, from last, we made all the way until 5th or 6th or something like that. So the car was fast. The car was very fast. But in that process, we started having the clutch issues. So it seemed like we were having issues. And with a very fast race car, it was just very disappointed. But like I said, the long run that we had right there at the end definitely helped us in the situation that we had.
Daniel, I wonder what the aftermath of this victory has been for you, because you've been so close so many times before, and to finally get the victory and to beat Kyle Busch to do it, I imagine your phone has just been blowing up for 2 days, right?
Yeah, it's still blowing up. Not as much as a couple of days ago, but it's still a little bit. It was just unbelievable finish, unbelievable result, and I really, I don't think it can be better than this. It's getting the penalty, having issues with the clutch, coming from the back, and then make a pass in the last lap to the best in the business, pretty much. Cal, he's a great driver, a great friend, and he's been super helpful to me in my racing career to make it to this point myself. I have had a lot of advice from him, a lot of comments, a lot of help, not just in the NASCAR Xfinity Series, but as well in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. So I really have to give big thanks to Cal for all the support, because maybe without his support I wouldn't be here getting this kind of results that fast in my racing career.
Well, as you were catching your teammate Eric Jones, you had to pass him to jump yourself into the top 5. You passed the third, you get to second, you look ahead, and you got Kyle Busch there. Did you ever think you were just going to finish second?
Well, to be honest with you, I was a little tired about second places. But I think I finished second already twice by Cal. So I knew that it was going to be difficult because I was running out of laps. And as well, the slow cars, the lappers, they were in the middle of the way. So I knew that I was faster than Cal in that point, but I didn't know if I was going to be able to pass him, because I was having a hard time trying to catch him. And one thing is to get to someone, and another different thing is to pass someone. So I knew that he wasn't going to give me that spot very easy. But actually, somehow it worked out. My car was unbelievable good in the long run in the corner 3 and 4, and it seemed like he was a little bit loose on the loose side. So I was able to put my car just on his barely inside on exit of 4, and after that we were just playing the side drafts and stuff, and I believe that he gave me a little bit of break. It seemed like he was going to battle hard. At one point, I moved to the middle line to try to get into the corner 1, and after that, my car was pretty good getting into the corner. So after that, once my spotter Crazy say clear, that was the word I was waiting for. After that, I said, okay, let's run hard now. One more lap, and after that, it was all good.
Yeah, that was fantastic. Daniel, we got a Twitter question. Corey Long wants to know, a lot of times this year at companion events, you've been running trucks and Xfinity. What do you learn from running a truck at the same track you're going to run that weekend in the Xfinity side?
Definitely helps. Always helps. You have more track time, obviously, and you know how the racetrack is changing, how fast the racetrack is changing, how much rubber is laying down in the racetrack, not just in practice, but as well in the race. So I think for me, it's been very helpful to race both series. And actually, that is going to be the case for this coming weekend in Iowa. We're going to be racing the 51 truck on Saturday and the 19, as always. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that, and I think for me, at least, it's been helpful. It's been helpful to race both series because it's always something. There is always at least one or two things that you can apply from the trucks to the Xfinity car.
That's fantastic. That is Daniel Suarez, first-time winner in the Xfinity Series, the driver of the number 19 Aris Toyota Camry for Joe Gibbs Racing. Daniel, congratulations again, and we look forward to catching up with you in Iowa this weekend.
Thank you, guys. I really appreciate your support and all your good comments. And looking forward to talk to you guys again soon.
There you go.
Good
Thank
job,
you very
Daniel.
much. There you go. How cool is that? I mean, that I know you were there and you saw, but just the emotion in Victory Lane after that win was spectacular.
It wasn't just a win. It was a culmination of events from the last 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years of his life.
Mm-hmm.
And again, just the fact that, most guys around the country are running short tracks, running late models, legends, go-karts, whatever. This guy's learning English.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't mean to belittle or make it such a big deal, but the simple fact that you're trying to create communication, and he talked about the comments of his crew chief and his spotter, that's through English.
Yeah.
Okay, and to master another language while you're trying to pursue a racing career in a different country is phenomenal. The simple fact that even after all that's said and done, he's got English mastered. Here he is. He's going to drive by Kyle Busch for a win.
What a way to do it.
Yeah, it's pretty
when
good.
You finally get it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, another time out here on Motorsports Monday. On track, off track is still to come.
This is MRN Motorsports Monday.
In the Outback, we think the best part about racing is the noise, the engine, the pits, and a Kevin Harvick top 10 finish. Especially a Kevin Harvick top 10 finish. That's because if Kevin Happy Harvick, driver of the number 4 Chevrolet, places in the top 10 in today's race, there's free bloomin' onions this Monday. So you'll have a happy bloomin' Monday. Only at Outback Steakhouse. Valid with any purchase. One per table. Participation may vary. Registered trademarks used with permission.
NASCAR K&N Pro Series East opened up, and it was Todd Gilliland picking up the race win.
This is NASCAR Coast to Coast.
How do you keep it all in perspective? You're a 15-year-old. You got to be able to enjoy things at the age of 15 other than racing.
Yes, my mom makes sure that I keep my grades up. It makes it a lot less stressful to miss school because you can just do it online and then hand it in next day at school. Teachers still don't like me very much because I still have to miss quite a bit of school. They understand it, and they've got my back.
NASCAR Coast to Coast every Wednesday at noon at MRN.com.
I'm Ty Dillon, and you're listening to MRN Motorsports Monday with Joey Meyer and Woody Kane.
Ty Dillon third in the standings in the Xfinity side now. And, boy, this is going to be a heck of a finish to see who gets in the chase there. But it's now time for us to talk about some things that are going pretty well and some things that maybe aren't going quite so well in the world of racing. Let's start with you and what you think is on track.
I don't know if there's
You love that sound. don't
any
you?
better story than Daniel Suarez coming home in victory lane. We've talked about it. We're going to beat the drum just a little bit longer for the segment. Just a great story all around. Smile on his face. The guys in the garage love him. He's just a good guy. A lot of times good guys don't get a chance in this series because they aren't much of a jerk to get behind the wheel and root guys out of the way. We saw Daniel Suarez fight his way back through the field, not have to root anybody out of the way, and the struggles and the gains that he's made simply by being in the country for as long as he's been and work his way up through the motorsports ladder with late models and trucks and now in the Xfinity side over at Joe Gibbs Racing is just a feel-good story that you can wrap your arms around, and everybody can. They don't have to worry about being a manufacturer or a nationality. It's just a really good story to bring home a warm and fuzzy to.
Yeah, absolutely. Mine is kind of along those same lines, talking about some of the young drivers with Chase Elliott. How about the way he has really turned it on? I know he's with a good crew chief, a good team, good equipment, but you still have to be able to perform. Last couple of races, how about this? At Pocono, he comes home fourth, led more laps than anybody with 51. Then at Michigan yesterday, his career best, second-place finish. He leads another 35 laps. They're sixth in the standings as a rookie right now. Are you kidding me? They've got it going on. And the only thing that makes you hesitate a little bit is man, sometimes he's so hard on himself. But I was chatting with Alan Gustafson, his crew chief, and he said, yeah, he is, but he doesn't let it carry over to the next event to where it hurts his confidence.
Yeah, I saw him at the airport yesterday. He just got his instrument rating. He's
heard
flying
that.
Him and one of the pilots for Jimmy Johnson's son. So Mr. Hudson's son, they flew back from Michigan to Dawsonville. It's about a little over a 3-hour flight. The first thing he wanted to talk about was how it just made a mistake, let his team down. I'm like, dude, there's a stripe on your bumper that allows you to do that.
Yeah, you get a pass.
There's
now.
a stripe. You get
Yeah.
this is your year to make those mistakes because you'll carry, and that's what being a rookie in this series does. You carry all the education and the mistakes that you make in your first year that hopefully in your sophomore year and your junior year and your senior year, you move on and don't make those mistakes. So you're allowed. You're given a mulligan.
Absolutely, but they've got a fantastic season coming together for them right now. Okay, let's go to the other side of the equation and talk a little off track. What's not going quite so well?
We've seen it twice on occasions this year in Atlanta, notably this last weekend in Michigan, pre-qualifying inspections. Something has to give when we have a number of teams going through inspection with the new laser platform, and we have 25, 30 teams going through multiple attempts to try to get their cars right. The teams insist they're correct. NASCAR insists their machines are wrong. Somebody's
correct.
They think their machines are correct. The teams think they're correct, and they haven't made many adjustments. Something has to give in a better line of communication to create either we're doing something wrong figuratively on our race cars, or the machine that we're using isn't calibrated properly. We did see a recalibration on Saturday of this machine that we're talking about. So we have to have a better line of communication to where when we have a car go through and a crew chief says, I honestly didn't touch my car, and then there's a problem with the machine, we need to take a moment to step back. We actually delayed qualifying for 15 minutes because there were so many cars. Because there were so many cars going through. There's certain teams with a limited number of manpower. They're not wanting to push their cars around the garage over and over and over again.
And your point is they're not pushing the edge to force themselves
They
to do
have
that,
no reason to do that. So we have to get a better job, do a better job of communication with the race teams and the side of the inspectors to create an environment that's a little more efficient when something is wrong. Now, we get the fact that one or two teams are going to push the limits, and we see that every weekend, but that's not what we're doing here.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. That has gotten kind of crazy, and you've heard tales of crew chiefs saying, just like you mentioned, I didn't change anything on my car. At first it was bad, now it was good. There's something squirrely there.
Yep.
I think you saw a little give from NASCAR in that they weren't popping guys with penalties before qualifying. They're saying, okay, let's just push the start of it back a little bit and get this taken care of.
Correct.
Yeah. Me, for off track, I've got another situation that has to do with penalties as well. It has to do with this whole lug nut thing. Aren't we getting tired of talking about lug nuts at this time? We just saw our fourth crew chief of the year get suspended for not having lug nuts tight at the end of the race. I'm not casting blame. I'm not putting this on one side or the other. However, I will say that the reason NASCAR did something is teams were trying to get a little bit of an advantage, as they always do with every rule, and then there were complaints, and once they used the word safety, that's when NASCAR felt like they had to do something. So now it's a situation to me like when there was a discussion about the restart rule. You squawk until they start enforcing it, and then you don't like what they're doing. Well, which is it? Do you want them to enforce it or do you not want them to enforce it? It just seems like such a minor thing. I've talked with several crew chiefs who said over the course of history, you've mentioned this as well, there have been cars come to victory lane without their lug nuts on them, not because they were trying to gain an advantage, but sometimes they come off.
They simply need to let them self-police itself. A loose wheel will become way looser than a driver wants to drive it before an issue happens. We've seen tires fail from too much camber. We've seen tires fail for too much air pressure. Tires are going to fail with no lug nuts, but give a driver a warning to come to pit road. Unfortunately, this was a situation where they asked us to save us from ourselves, and they have, and now we're seeing the penalty of it. A crew chief being suspended for a lug nut missing when there was no safety issue.
Yeah.
When the weekend after the big hoopla about it was the driver that was making the hoopla only had 4 lug nuts on his car during the race, you see the issue. We've never had a safety issue. There was an issue, but it wasn't safety.
And let me tell you this, Scott Miller, the new NASCAR Director of Competition, says that we're not far from the time where they're going to start monitoring that with the pit road cameras as well, so you might see it during a race. So put that in the back of your mind and keep that ready.
Yeah, technology is getting ready to hit us really hard. I think we're going to have chips installed in our lug nuts, and you won't even have to worry about it. The lug nuts will be inspected technically as they leave pit road.
All right. Quickly, Twitter question. Zach Copeland wants to know what extra challenges, if any, does a non-Cup track race present to a Cup Series driver, and when did Brad last run Iowa?
Yeah, most Cup guys have all grown up through the Truck Series and Xfinity Series, so we get to run these tracks. Brad's run Iowa five, 6 times. We've been able to win it 3 times. We ran it back in 2014 and sat in victory lane.
All right. Don't forget, coming up on Motor Racing Network this week, NASCAR Live is Tuesday night at 7 Eastern Time. Kyle Rickey's hosting. He'll be talking with A.J. Allmendinger after that test at Kentucky this week, so you've got that coming up. We will be in Iowa this weekend for Camping World Truck Series action Saturday night and for Xfinity Series racing Saturday or Sunday afternoon. I'm Woody. He's Joey. We will see you next week right back here on Motorsports Monday.
You've been listening to MRN Motorsports Monday, presented by Outback Steakhouse. Tune in again next Monday at noon Eastern for all the latest news, results, and interviews from NASCAR on MotorRacingNetwork.com. Brought to you by Hercules Tires. MRN Motorsports Monday is also available on demand at the MotorRacingNetwork.com Media Center. Or you can download it from iTunes or Stitcher. MRN Motorsports Monday is a production of the Motor Racing Network. All rights reserved.